George Larson Jr. was 19 years old. He had worked the previous season as a ski lift operator at the Vernon Valley Resort next door. On July 8, 1980, he went to Action Park in Vernon, New Jersey with a friend. His mother loaned him the money that afternoon. The Alpine slide ran 2,700 feet down Hamburg Mountain on a concrete and fiberglass track. Riders sat in small four-wheeled carts and controlled their speed with a single handbrake. 2 settings. Pull it and the cart slowed. Release it and gravity decided. There were no helmets, no barriers along the edges, no mechanism to recover a cart that left the track. State records later documented 14 fractures and 26 head injuries in 1984 and 1985 alone. Brake failures were a known and recurring problem. Larson's brake failed. His cart left the rail. He was thrown approximately 25 feet and struck his head on a rock. He lost consciousness immediately. He died on July 16th. 8 days later, Action Park's owner told reporters Larson had been an employee riding after hours in the rain, a claim that would have exempted them from filing an official accident report. His family disputed every detail. He was not an employee of Action Park. It was not raining. It was not after hours. A state spokesperson told reporters the ride had not injured Larson. It was, they said, the rock. The family settled for $100,000, bound by a gag order for years. 5 more people died at Action Park before it closed in 1996. The Alpine slide was never significantly redesigned. It was a half-term week in London. Schools had broken up for the holiday, and on the afternoon of May 30th, 1972, Battersea Park Fun Fair was packed with children. The Big Dipper was the park's centerpiece, a wooden roller coaster operating since 1951. The Duchess of Kent had ridden it on opening day. Each 3-car train was hauled up the first hill by a rope. At the top, the rope detached and gravity carried the train through the circuit. A mechanical dog brake on each car was designed to lock automatically if the rope released unexpectedly, preventing rollback. A brakeman rode the last car on every run. In 1970, a fire had damaged the ride. Replacement parts were sourced from other fairgrounds, some over 50 years old. The dog brake on one replacement train had failed to engage during testing. No corrective action was recorded. Staff included teenagers with no formal training. Management were frequently drunk during operating hours. Late afternoon, a fully loaded train of 31 passengers reached the top of the first hill. The rope detached. The dog brake did not engage. The brakeman could not hold it. The train rolled backward, gathering speed. On a sharp bend near the bottom, the rear car jumped the track. The cars behind piled in. 3 children died at the scene. 2 more died in the days that followed. 13 others were injured. One survivor grabbed a handrail to escape the wreckage. It was rotten. She fell 40 feet. Post-crash inspection found 66 faults. The ride manager and engineer were charged with manslaughter. Both were acquitted. The fun fair closed in 1974. For 50 years, there was no memorial. A cherry tree was planted on the 50th anniversary. Tyre Sampson was 14 years old. He was a middle school football player from St. Louis, Missouri, standing 6 feet 2 inches and weighing 383 pounds. In late March 2022, he traveled to Orlando with his team for spring break training. On the evening of March 24th, the group visited Icon Park on International Drive. The Orlando Freefall was a 430-foot drop tower, the tallest freestanding drop ride in the world at the time. Each of 30 seats secured its occupant with a single overhead shoulder harness. No seatbelt. Most comparable rides use both. The manufacturer's weight limit was 287 pounds. Sampson exceeded it by 96 pounds. No scales were positioned at the entrance. No weight limit was posted at the ride itself. An operator had manually adjusted the harness proximity sensor on Sampson's seat, widening the gap from the standard 3.33 inches to 7.19 inches, nearly double. The ride's electronics registered the harness as locked. It was not. As the gondola braked near the ground, Sampson slipped through the harness. Bystander video captured the moment. He struck the pavement. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A maintenance technician later filed a whistleblower lawsuit alleging he had raised sensor safety concerns with management before the accident and been ignored. He was fired after Sampson's death. Florida passed the Tyre-Sampson Act in May 2023, requiring seatbelts and independent certification on all rides exceeding 100 feet. The Orlando Freefall was dismantled the same year. In December 2024, a jury awarded Sampson's family $310 million against the ride's Austrian manufacturer. Caleb Schwab was 10 years old. He came to Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City, Kansas on August 7, 2016, with his family. His father, Scott, a state legislator, had received free admission as part of an elected officials' day. Verrückt, German for insane, stood 168 feet and 7 inches tall, certified by Guinness as the tallest water slide on Earth. Riders sat in 3-person rafts, dropped nearly vertically, surged up a 50-foot second hill at approximately 65 miles per hour, and descended into a finishing pool. Restraints were 2 Velcro straps, no buckles. Neither of the ride's 2 designers held any engineering qualification relevant to amusement ride design. The idea had been conceived in 2012 on impulse to impress a TV production crew. On July 3, 2014, 1 week before the ride's grand opening, an engineering firm hired to test the rafts warned that at the recommended passenger weight range, rafts could go airborne cresting the second hill. The ride opened anyway. 3 weeks before August 7, 2016, a park manager flagged brake maintenance as a priority. No repairs were ordered. Caleb sat at the front of the raft. 2 adult women sat behind him. The weight distribution was uneven. Cresting the second hill, the raft went airborne. Caleb was ejected into the metal frame supporting the safety netting. He was decapitated. Second-degree murder charges were filed against the ride's designers and the park's operations director. All charges were dismissed in 2019 on procedural grounds after the judge ruled the grand jury had been tainted. The Schwab family settled for approximately $20 million. Verrückt was demolished in 2018. Schlitterbahn Kansas City closed permanently and was demolished in 2021. Quimby Galati was 17 years old, a senior at Napa High School in California. On June 2, 1997, she joined roughly 200 classmates on a graduation trip to Waterworld, USA in Concord. The Bonsai Pipeline was a fiberglass water slide rising approximately 40 feet above the park's ground level. Like every slide at the facility, it was engineered and rated for 1 rider at a time, a single body. The fiberglass shell was designed to flex and absorb the forces of 1 person moving through it at speed. Exceeding that load transferred stress directly into the structure's joints and support connections. The senior class had a tradition. Previous classes had attempted to set records by cramming as many students as possible onto a slide simultaneously, a stunt known as clogging. At 3:30 that afternoon, the park announced the buses were leaving. A group of approximately 33 students rushed the Bonsai Pipeline for 1 final ride. A lifeguard stationed at the top of the stairs told them to stop and go 1 at a time. They walked past her and kept climbing. A 20-foot section near the top gave way. Students fell 30 to 40 feet onto concrete, dirt, wooden support structures, and the collapsed sections of slide below. Witnesses at the base described blood mixing with the water still flowing from the broken slide. 32 students were injured, 2 suffered fractured vertebrae. Galati struck the ground and sustained fatal chest injuries. She was pronounced dead approximately 45 minutes later. Post-incident analysis confirmed the slide had been subjected to forces 3 times its rated capacity. The tragedy directly triggered California state legislation, mandating independent inspections of amusement parks and requiring parks to report accidents involving more than first aid treatment. Quimby Galati was 17 years old. She would have graduated the following week.